Hi, I'm looking for...
Stadia?
What?
What's Stadia? Stadia is only the newest, most logic-defying, mind-bending, absurd gaming platform on Earth. Forget boxes, forget consoles, just your games, your screens, and electric air. And this electric air is Stadia. Unlike consoles, Stadia doesn't take up any space. It makes no noise. It has no smell. Watch. Go find Stadia, boy. Don't worry. You'll never find it.
Okay.
You can play Stadia with this.
Stadia likes to party.
Up to 4K, 60 FPS.
He'll show us.
4K, 60 FPS.
With Stadia, you can go virtually anywhere. Live anywhere.
This is amazing.
Play with any who.
So we're inside a game. I think I know that guy. Gary!
Stadia is gaming for free-range humans.
Gary!
Stadia travels across screens.
Gary!
No downloads, no updates, no waiting. Stadia bends time and space to take you straight to your game.
So Stadia's the pencil!
Technically, this is Stadia.
Stadia's streaming pipeline leverages decades of Google research. Is that a dog?
He actually found it.
Stadia is the games you're looking for.
Stadia is so impossibly mind-bending, so free to move from screen to screen, so not dependent on downloads or updates. It's like nothing. Nothing you've ever played games on before! Unthink the things you think are things. Free your mind at the one place for all the ways we play. Stadia!
Wow.
Do you guys maybe have
Stadia?
Stadia has a lot of problems. With a ton of missing features and many of its early adopters waiting days for access codes despite pre-ordering months ago, Google's new game streaming service is off to a rocky start. But underneath all of the launch missteps, the small game library, and the questionable streaming quality, Stadia at least proved that cloud gaming works, and can look quite impressive. Stadia has a lot of potential down the line, but so far the service has proven it's just not ready yet. If this is the first time you've heard of Stadia, it's Google's first attempt at a game streaming service. The service lets you stream games from the cloud without needing any sort of gaming hardware on your end. Just like streaming TV shows or movies, Stadia lets you play games like Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Red Dead Redemption 2 at up to 4K and 60 FPS on your phone, web browser, or TV via Chromecast Ultra. No console or PC required. For the most part, Stadia has fulfilled its mission. For the past 2 weeks, we've been playing Destiny 2 and Shadow of the Tomb Raider at 4K rendered with all the minute details and high frame rate action you'd expect from a gaming PC. Games look so good on Stadia that you almost forget it's not playing on anything in your home, but rather a server hundreds of miles away. However, under close scrutiny, you can see holes in Google's streaming promise. Latency on Stadia is greatly reduced compared to other streaming services we've used, like Microsoft xCloud and Nvidia GeForce Now, but you can still feel it's there. Combos in Mortal Kombat 11 can feel sluggish, and you have to carefully line up every headshot in Destiny 2. In our testing, Stadia added an extra 50 to 75 milliseconds of latency compared to playing on an Xbox One X or PS4 Pro in most of the games we played, including Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Mortal Kombat 11. In most cases, that's not really enough to make a difference, especially if you're playing with a controller, but in games that require precise aiming or movement, or if you're playing with a mouse and keyboard, that latency is pretty bothersome. There's also the question of whether the 4K gameplay you see from Stadia is actually rendered at 4K. The difference between Destiny 2 and Shadow of the Tomb Raider running at 4K on a gaming PC versus on Stadia is like night and day. The streaming version shows significantly blurrier textures and fewer graphical effects. That questionable 4K streaming is a big problem for Stadia and its subscription model because it's one of the 3 main features you get for paying $10 a month, aside from, actually being able to stream games right now. On paper, Stadia might seem like the Netflix of streaming games, but it doesn't give you instant access to a library of experiences to play. Rather, you have to buy each game separately on top of paying a monthly price. At this point, the storefront is full of familiar titles like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, all 3 of the new Tomb Raider games, and Destiny 2. 22 games isn't really a lot compared to the more than 50 games available on Microsoft xCloud and the ability to add your Steam and Uplay libraries to GeForce Now. Stadia might have intended to remove hardware from the gaming equation, but the service is currently only open to those who bought the $129 Founders or Premier Edition. Google is yet to open up its service to anyone who just wants to pay the $10 a month subscription. Meanwhile, the free version of Stadia, which allows you to buy games and stream them at 1080p, isn't due to release until next year. Those that did buy the early premium edition of Stadia get 3 months free of Stadia Pro, which includes store discounts as well as one free game every month, a Stadia Pro controller, and a Chromecast Ultra that's been updated specifically to work with Stadia. The strangest thing about needing to buy these special bundles to play Stadia is you don't actually need any of Google's hardware about 75% of the time. You can just as easily pop into a game on your phone with a Bluetooth controller like a PS4 controller or Xbox One controller. On Chrome, you can play just about everything with a mouse and keyboard. It's only on the TV that you need a Chromecast Ultra and Google Stadia controller. As far as controllers go, the Stadia controller is okay. It has a good heft and shape that's close to the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, paired with a stick arrangement of a DualShock 4 and the buttons of an Xbox One controller. Its special feature is a built-in Wi-Fi radio which allows it to connect directly with Stadia's servers in order to remove a tiny bit of input lag. However, the controller costs $69, while you can get either a DualShock 4 or Xbox One controller for around $40 now. It also has disappointingly flat-feeling face buttons and a lifeless set of triggers, so it doesn't really justify the premium it demands. Unless you plan to play Stadia primarily on your TV, you should get a better controller for less money. For all its problems, Stadia shows a lot of promise and proves that streaming games over the internet is possible. Even in its early days, Stadia is doing things that you just can't with GeForce Now or Microsoft xCloud, including 4K HDR streaming, the lowest latency we've seen, and it works with all three of the major device types. We just hope Google can shape up its streaming service into something more complete as it adds more features in the coming year. For more on Google Stadia, keep it at IGN.
Hey guys, Viewing91, and I'm talking about Google Stadia because apparently the launch has gone kind of mixed. Honestly, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like a dumpster fire kind of, but it wasn't. Apparently some positive reviews, some mixed reviews, and some negative reviews. Now, what is the basis of all this? Well, apparently, if you have really good internet connection, it tends to work fine, though not always, because a gamer actually did show when he had, I think, connected to gigabit Ethernet connection, the very noticeable jump lag in, I think it was Destiny's 2. So it seems like there are some kinks, there are some problems, and it does seem kind of like what SpawnWave said, that early adopters, kind of beta testers for this, because it is true. Based on the Inside Gaming video, it seems like it can work, and it can't at some times. And that's the thing about getting something the first day. Just like with Disney Plus, there are always going to be like major problems. I mean, I couldn't even watch any movies on Disney Plus the past weekend because of all the people on it, I believe. So to me, really, early adopting of like these type of services just doesn't make as much sense. I understand there have to be some early adopters. Imagine if no one bought anything day one. Then they would basically just have to shut things down and stuff because they're not making any money. But I just find a product like a streaming service especially doesn't really come into like full stride until almost a year after it comes out. When those streaming services and even like new consoles and stuff first come out, there are always bugs, there are always things wrong, there are almost always stuff where it just doesn't work like it should. And it just seems like companies need to get a while to get a product working to where it should be. And that's the same thing with Google Stadia. It seems like it's not fully bad. So I gotta actually slightly congratulate Google because it's just not as bad as I thought it was. I thought this was just gonna be a complete train wreck, but it's not. Apparently Stadia is working fine for some people. There are some problems, but that's to be expected of any type of streaming service on day one. What do you guys think about Google Stadia? Have you tried it? And if you have you had any problems? And what do you think about the overall service? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. May God bless you all.